Disclaimer: the following video contains subjects that may be sensitive to certain viewers. If you suffer from any of the things that'll be said in the Tales from the Bottle series of videos, please know that you are not alone and that we are always here to help you. But if the themes that'll be discussed in these videos will trigger an emotional breakdown or simply bring back some unhappy memories, stop watching and get someone you love to hold you and help you. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, all you beautiful wolves and pups out there. Welcome to episode 2 of Tales from the Bottle. Now, there will be a disclaimer before the video starts, so yeah. If you watched the previous episode, then you already know what's up. And if you didn't watch it, then go watch it. It gets really serious real quick. Anyways, I'm here with
Hello,
Dom.
everybody.
And
Hello, everybody. My name is Dom, as Connor has just introduced me. Thank you, Connor, and welcome, as he said, to From the Bottle. Today is a very serious subject to do with very serious things, so please take caution. Today we are joined by Dylan, who has actually promised to be on his best behaviour, which is surprising.
I am quiet.
And Connor, obviously, the other host of
Hi.
the series. Today's video is quite different because this is a story made up on the spot. Daniel strode into the room, slamming the door behind him, his chest heavy and his heart beating. Jason walked from behind him. What were you playing at? I don't know. I don't know. You literally kissed a stranger. I know. What about Abby? Just shut up. What am I gonna do? Well, you're gonna fucking make sure that you're not the father first. Oh God, don't put that in my head. Oh no. What have I done? Well, it's your fault, not mine. Yeah, but you could have at least helped me out, pulled me out of there or something. How am I supposed to do that? I don't know. I don't know. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna tell her? Do you want my advice? Do I have an option here? No. My advice here is don't say anything. But I have to. What if it blows up in my face? Yeah, it will if you do say something. Trust me. Oh, but this is wrong. I shouldn't do. What am I supposed to? What am I supposed to do? You can't exactly find the woman that you've just eloped with, can you? What? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Well, think about it this way. How on earth are you supposed to find her? I don't know. Keep it quiet, or you'll lose everyone you love. But you say "but" one more time, and I'll take over, and I'll make sure that all the people know what you're like really. But no, I'm not like that anymore. No. What am I gonna do? Don't ask me. I'm just a voice. Daniel looks up. No one is in front of him. He walks over to the mirror, looking into it. Jason staring back at him. What are your thoughts on the story?
The story.
On the first.
The story, as we see, is dealing with schizophrenia. It's not an easy subject to talk about, and it 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 to say it grinds my gears. That would be putting it lightly. But I don't know. I like obviously this Jason person is being manipulative, but that Jason
But
person is just a voice in his head. So that raises the confusion. I honestly think that what the voice is telling him are lies. He should say it to someone because if he doesn't and they find out the hard way, then he will lose everyone he ever loved. But I don't know.
at the same time, obviously, he mentioned the voice mentioned Daniel mentioned a girl called Abby. Obviously, probably someone that he really likes or is currently with.
Which also raises another point: infidelity. Point
Which
that
it
strongly pisses me off.
obviously it was some form of mistake, seeing as he was very stressed about it all.
Apparently.
Obviously, he obviously had no intention for that to happen whatsoever.
But then that raises the question of why did he let it happen?
Maybe that's the thing, because you don't actually hear the whole thing of what happened. It just mentions of something happening. Obviously, you know there was some form of sexual interaction,
Yes.
but it's really left at that. So anything could have really happened there. Obviously, the voice in his head telling him that it's his fault and he shouldn't have let it happen. But what if he didn't want it to happen? That's the thing. We can't exactly trust everything the voice is saying.
That's true.
There comes the thing with schizophrenia and that. The voices in the heads are very manipulative and will influence a lot of what the person can do.
That's correct.
Dylan, what's your take on it?
I don't know much about, schizophrenia and stuff. Like, I don't know too much about that stuff. But like, I had a thought in my head literally a minute ago about what I'm gonna just completely wiped out. Just give me a second, I can remember.
Just take your time. Obviously, this.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, yeah. Now, I don't know much about schizophrenia at all, to be honest with you. All I really know is it's another voice and a person. And I'm here thinking, yeah, I kind of got lost in the story a little bit, but I know the gist of it. That like one of the characters, I don't remember his name though. Had like an intercourse with another woman or something.
Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel had something to do with another woman when he's already with someone, and then Jacob, that was the name, right?
No,
Jason.
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 Jacob is a douchebag name.
It's like like telling them like not to tell anyone, not to say anything, right?
Hmm.
And I'm over here thinking, does Daniel's like personal opinion on this? Like maybe he actually doesn't want to tell anyone, so
Well,
the voice is trying to convince him not to tell anyone.
but that also
It kind
raises
of
the
let it,
question, like, if Daniel really has a choice, or is the voice really that strong that it can take over him at any point?
Then
I mean, see, this is what
again,
I'm,
he
this is
then
what I'm
again he
thinking though.
was threatened as well by the voice, saying the voice will quote unquote take control
Yeah,
of the situation,
You see,
or
no,
maybe
the thing
just
is,
manipulate his words.
the thing that I'm wondering is though, like obviously in this story, that's when he actually found out that the person wasn't actually real, and it was just
yeah.
No,
the voice in his
obviously
head.
he always knew it wasn't real. It's just revealed to the audience at the end.
Oh. Well, then in that case, is it more like a thing of he like that he's always saying like he wants to tell or he doesn't know what to do, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
But then the voice is telling them not to tell anyone. Is that like basically him saying that like he actually doesn't want to tell anyone, but he's trying to argue with himself at the same time?
Yeah, I think on a small basis, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You can really tell the distress, like the differences between the characters. You can really tell. Daniel very much panicking about it and not knowing what to do at all. It's like, even though you know something he's done is very wrong, you can still give him sympathy because he's so distraught over what he's done unknowingly, probably.
And how did he do it unknowingly though?
Well,
I don't get.
He
people
was so distraught about it, so there couldn't have been a way that he couldn't have planned for it to happen.
Or
So
maybe.
he was
Oh,
very distraught over it.
that, or
yeah, but maybe he's not distraught, like he didn't know what's happening, or maybe it's regret that he's feeling at the same time.
It might be regret, but he's very distraught over it. It's not,
Yeah.
it's less, it's not, obviously there is some remorse in it, but he's very scared.
Yeah, because maybe he knew what he did though, and he's just really feeling regretful over it.
But he's more scared. That's the thing. If he was regretful, he wouldn't be scared. He would have been able to face up to what he's done. But he didn't plan for this to happen.
Well,
Yeah, but like anyone who ends up, like doing something with someone else, it's not exactly planned.
Thing is that the only thing with that is you only get a very basic part of the story. This is one of the things. Obviously, not all stories are gonna have an ending, a beginning, and a beginning. Not all of them are gonna have a beginning and end. Sometimes you just get rammed smack bam into the middle of a story, not knowing what's happening at any point in time. This is what you've got to think about. Obviously, if we knew the beginning of the story of what happened and all of the other things, if we knew all of these other things, we could probably make a proper judgment on it. The thing is, our judgments now are based solely on the fact of what we know, which is very little, and even we know even less with the fact that we don't know if we can trust what the voice is saying. It's like the boy who cried wolf. You can't trust what the boy is saying because he's lied so many times. Just like we can't trust the voice because it's a voice. But he's clearly distraught and upset by it. That's the thing. That's the main thing. So that if you focus on the emotions of it, obviously the voice being very, very calm, collected, knowing what to do, but very sincere at the same time. Whereas Daniel is distraught, doesn't know what to do, scared, like a child in all essence of the word.
Yeah, but I just thought of like something else though. At the same time, like other sort of situation though. You know the way like Jason said, like he's gonna like release all the secrets and stuff. Once again, to my point that I made earlier of him. My God, what was it? I'm so forgetful. What was the point I made? Can someone remember?
Not wanting to tell anybody, but
Yeah. Basically, he was like, the voice was saying, about releasing all of Daniel's secrets or whatever he did though. Now that I'm talking about, what was the secrets though? Did he?
I think it was more less secrets. Like he'll make sure everyone turns on him, and obviously, the thing with schizophrenia is the voices in your head can very much influence you to do what they want you to do by
So what I'm thinking
manipulating
is like
your trust in that. So that's probably what he would do.
Yeah. So is this the one that basically end up driving Daniel to actually tell everyone himself?
Yeah. So the thing is with this,
but
you can kind of tell. You can I know what you're trying to say, Dylan, but you can kind of tell what Jason is trying to do.
No.
You can tell that Daniel has a lot of trust in him because he keeps asking him what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
That's where it's all gonna come out. That's how he's gonna reveal the secrets because Daniel has a lot of trust in him. So even after this situation, Daniel's gonna trust whatever he says, and he's gonna follow along with what he says. In other words, Jason can then fuck up everything else.
like a sheep.
That's not what I was trying to. That's not exactly what I was trying to go on about. I was trying to say something that kind of like what I made last time. Does he want to tell people deep down? Like, does he want everyone to know?
I think Daniel wants to tell Abby. That's the thing. Like, you can tell he because he's. What am I going to say to Abby? Because he wants to tell her. He wants to tell her something's gone wrong. The thing is, we don't know. Obviously, we know that it couldn't have been planned because it was a random stranger. Remember specifically.
Oh.
And
Oh,
if
okay.
you, no, obviously the gender is specified as a female because like, how are we going to find her?
Yeah.
But if we think about if like the gender wasn't specified and we had even less information, what would we have assumed? Because if this story, this episode of From the Bottle is less about the schizophrenia itself and more about assumptions of things, people making assumptions on a story. Obviously, me and Connor being the worst for that, we'll both make an assumption of a person and we'll hate their guts. And then when we find out at the end what either their motivations or something, we'll feel genuinely bad. We'll still hate them, but we'll feel bad for a lot of the judgments we've made over them throughout the course of the episode or the series.
To literally translate a Croatian saying, we would literally be making an elephant out of the fly.
To quote a British saying, to assume makes an ass out of you and me.
That's basically it.
I wish there was an Irish saying, but I don't know it.
No, the Irish saying is the same as the English one. The thing that's a very clever saying though, because how do you spell assume? Ass, you, me.
I get it.
But obviously that's why the story was one made up, and two a lot shorter than some of the other stories we've had in From the Bottle. That's the specific reason. Is because it's not actually about the story this time. Because obviously before we put ourselves in the character's shoes. If you notice, I didn't ask that. I asked what your opinions on the story was because it was the assumptions that we make.
Right.
That's why I said, like, if we didn't know the gender, what would we had assumed? I can probably guarantee that at least one of us would think that Daniel had a gay relationship with someone and didn't have the guts to tell people about it if we didn't identify a gender.
My assumption was just plain out adultery or infidelity.
Yeah. But I mean, if I hadn't specified the gender, a lot of us probably would have assumed gay.
And the whole make sure that you're not a father thing, because that kind of gives it away.
I think that's where the manipulation was coming in.
You think?
Yeah, because obviously this is a random stranger. How would it be? How would Jason know that she's pregnant instantly?
Good point, actually.
Or maybe, obviously, Connor, you personally haven't dealt with schizophrenia before, have you?
Yes, I have actually.
I mean, like yourself.
No, I have.
Yeah. Oh. Well, you know it's very much like a fucking demon.
Yes.
I know that's why you said it, but it's very much like that, but it's not. It's a manifestation of it's very much like, from what my knowledge of it is, a manifestation of your hatred of yourself a lot of the time.
In that case, I have a lot of it.
Well, here, like,
but like sometimes it can manifest itself into good things, which the next episode we'll do another episode. I am going to do another episode on assumptions, which will deal with same two characters, but in a different light.
Right.
Well, here though, here's the other thing though, can like these schizophrenic voices, could they also be like kind of like not exactly like, but kind of like the what's the word, dissociative identity disorder? Like
you're thinking of the movie Split, aren't you, Dylan?
I've never watched that movie. I've never heard of that movie.
That's what you're thinking of, isn't it?
No, I've just heard
Actually,
of it.
I want to talk about that after we've done this video.
Well, I kind of understand what Dylan is trying to say.
Can they take on like different because like the one we just saw here is just like, you know, some person that he puts a lot of trust into.
Yes.
But could they also take on like different characters and roles?
Different
personas. A lot of the time when it comes to schizophrenia, a lot of the time there isn't one. There's usually two or three.
Yes, and like I said, and an origami can take on whatever form it wants. Whatever form.
Again, if we think about it then, what if Abby is just another voice?
Oh,
Oh.
What if this random stranger is also another voice as well, and he thought he had committed something that he hadn't done?
Oh, that would be sinking into some really deep stuff.
This is the thing, because we're making assumptions.
Right.
Again,
Yeah.
this obviously the focus of this video is making assumptions. We don't know the beginning, middle, and end of the story. We just know a section.
Yeah.
but like I know. Did you ever watch that Netflix movie in middle school?
Mm,
There's a lot of
mm,
Netflix movies in middle school.
No, no, like that's literally called middle school. It's like there's this. I don't.
I
Oh,
have
I was about
not.
to. I'm about to. Oh, what I'm about to say could spoil it. Don't want me to go on?
Maybe not, Dylan. Talk about it afterwards.
Yeah,
Let's
but
keep
it
a
does actually.
focus.
I actually do. Yeah, well, one thing I actually do think that that's a schizophrenic thing. I know. Wait, with what was revealed, um, it might be, but like it might not be exactly like this, but it's the same kind of concept.
mm.
'Cause I remember
Okay.
seeing that. I remember seeing that movie, so I don't know if you want me to talk about it or not.
I
Maybe
don't know,
afterwards.
Mm.
but yeah.
Um, so yeah, the moral of today's video is don't judge people for their actions. The school
What?
bully that picks on you is not is probably dealing with shit at home.
Yeah.
Don't make obviously, as I said, the focus is was obviously the schizophrenia, which is also bad, which is why I said it's going to deal with very sensitive themes. But this is more about the making assumptions
Personally, I
about
don't think it
people.
has anything to do with making assumptions.
It it is obviously the whole thing is what of the normal thing with Tales from the Bottle is we put ourselves in each of the characters' shoes.
Yeah.
Um, but in this one, I was doing a kind of social experiment with people making assumptions. That's why I wanted to know your takes on the stories. Which is why it was impeccable we had another guest here being Dylan,
Yeah.
because it will show how wildly different our assumptions are. Connor instantly thinking the worst, and Dylan actually sympathizing with the other person.
Yeah.
As I said, we don't know the beginning, middle, and end of the story. We just know that
We only
there is
know,
a person.
like, we only know what we heard, and if if perhaps we've gained a tad bit more of a context, maybe then we would understand more. But as it is now, we only know that he thinks he had done something, but that something might not actually have been done. He might just be completely alone and insane. But again, we're only making assumptions.
The greater moral for this is if you think someone's done something, so maybe someone's close to you, you think they've done something terrible, ask them about it. Don't just assume that they've done it. Genuinely ask them
But
and
what if
tell
they
them that
don't
you're
want to talk
concerned.
about it?
If they don't want to talk about it, then just say, if you ever need me, I'll be there for you. Because sometimes they don't want to talk about these things, but the thing is, you can't just assume that they've instantly done it. It might look really bad, but it doesn't mean they have done it.
Mm.
And if they have, support them anyway. This is the thing, I know this is, Connor's going to definitely disagree with me on this, but my personal opinion is, this is a relationship thing. If your wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or husband cheats on you, if you genuinely love them, you'll be alright with that. Because
No,
you
well,
won't, obviously, obviously there's going to be a lot of differing opinions here. My personal opinion is, if you love them, then you accept that.
But what if they take
I
that
wouldn't
as?
be. I,
But what if they take
The
that as,
thing
oh,
is,
that, oh, they don't care that I cheated on them, so
you
I'm
can
just
be
gonna
upset
keep
about
doing
it,
that.
but
No,
you can be
wait, but
upset about it,
wait,
obviously.
don't. Let me finish. What if they, like, say they don't care that I cheated on them, so I'm gonna keep doing that until until I finally
This is the
get
thing.
a reaction out of them.
I didn't say like it wouldn't care. I'd say I would accept it. Doesn't mean I wouldn't care. I would voice my opinion on how I don't like that, but I wouldn't leave them for something like that. Because if you genuinely love someone, you would take them with their flaws.
I would probably
Yeah,
be
but wouldn't you feel
awkward, but
betrayed? But wouldn't you feel betrayed though?
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you would, and you probably wouldn't trust them as much, which would cause you to make assumptions.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, if they like kept it a secret from me and I had to find out myself, then I would probably be done with them. But if they
Oh
come
yeah,
out
that's
and
an
tell
arsehole
me,
move.
yeah, but if they actually tell me though, I might be a tiny bit more sympathetic, but maybe not too much though.
Thing is, you got to make that. Let them make the decision. You got to pretty much say, "Look, I love you, so I personally will stay with you. But if you don't love me, then it'll be your choice to leave."
Honestly, I don't know. Like, the whole subject of someone cheating on somebody and then that somebody being okay with that, it boggles me. It boggles my mind. How can someone be okay with that? But
Some
again,
people
that's
are
just
really
me.
forgiving. Some people are just really forgiving.
No matter how many times they get stabbed in the back, they would still be forgiving. That's just called being a sheep.
Well,
But again,
I
that's
feel
my
this is
thought
a
on that.
tale. It's a tale from another bottle for another day. I've been Dominic. He's been Connor, and
Yeah.
Dylan was also here. Thank you for watching.
I don't know why the way you just said that.
Thank you for watching. And again, and as we always end these videos, there's always people that will be there for you. And for
Always.
people that know someone who is in a dire situation, talk to them.
Do not let them
They'll greatly
suffer in
appreciate it.
silence. Do not let them suffer in silence. Help them in whatever way you can.
I've been trying to help one of my friends for a situation, but they just don't seem to want my help.
Thank you and good
Again,
night.
Dylan, we'll discuss this after the video because we're about to end it.
Thank you
Uh,
and good night.